So Diablo Immortal's been out for about 2 weeks now. Is it already dead? Now, anybody familiar with the Diablo franchise, they have heard of the launch of Diablo Immortal. And it's came out to, well, not even mixed reviews. Very, very bad reviews, mainly based upon the monetization system, and that is the predatory microtransactions. Now, the big thing that everyone points out to is the loot box system that can kind of keep people coming back, always trying to gamble for more and more and more items. Now, in general, the gameplay is sort of smooth. It's not bad. It is pretty basic and easy, but it is super, super, super smooth. And the game looks good for a mobile game on PC. It looks pretty meh, but it is just a port over from a cell phone game, so what did anybody really expect, right? But now it's a little bit into it. Everyone has a full idea of how the monetization model comes out now, and some streamers really put some hardcore cash into this game to kind of show everybody exactly how expensive it could be if you really try to pursue those super end game items. Yeah, you can play through the whole game, the whole campaign that is, for free, but once you get to the end, that's where you hit the real paywall, where you can't get the best items in the game unless you pay what looks like, at minimum, thousands of dollars. Some streamers even went ahead and put in tens of thousands of dollars, and they still are having hard times getting the absolute best gems in the game. Speaking of spending thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars, there is actually one streamer, a Quinn69, that actually, allegedly anyways, according to him, spent $20,000 buying the different crests and running rifts and didn't get a single 5-star legendary gem. Now that is absolutely bananas. How could you spend that much money and not even get one of the best things in the game? Now, the fact that you had to spend all of this money is a well-publicized thing here in Diablo Immortal. I know I'm not the first person to talk about it, but crazy enough, the actual Metascore actually went up over the last few days. It's actually all the way up to 0.3. Yeah, I did see it before. It was actually at 0.2, but apparently 1 or 2 people came in and rated it a little bit higher. Now, is the game actually that bad? No, it's really not, but I know everyone came on here and slambasted it for the microtransactions, the monetizations. Everybody hates it. Now, there is a very, very vocal crowd about the microtransactions, how everybody says they're never going to play it. They absolutely hate it, but are people actually playing the game? Now, we can't get any exact firm numbers. Blizzard isn't exactly releasing it, but they did have a few releases. And as of writing this article that I'm reading right in front of me here, Diablo Immortal has over 10 million installs. Now, if people installed it, some people aren't going to play it, but there's several million, I'm speculating here, probably at least like 8 million people playing Diablo Immortal as of June 20th. Now, interestingly enough, there was actually 30 million people that pre-registered for the game. So actually 2/3 of the people that pre-registered for it heard about the microtransactions and stuff, or just kind of forgot about it and decided, I ain't playing that game. Also, what I guarantee will happen is when everybody hits that end of the game paywall, you can't really upgrade any more of your gear. They're not going to keep grinding the same thing over and over again with no opportunity to advance. So I bet you when people hit that paywall at the end, a lot of people are going to drop off. Now, based on the number of people, how much money necessarily did Blizzard really make from this? Because really, let's be honest here, the amount of money they made from this is either going to persuade or dissuade the company from doing things like this again. Diablo Immortal has made $24 million in just the first 2 weeks. And yeah, like this article says, of course it has. I know a lot of people say that this game was made for the Asian market. Well, actually, when you look at the breakdown, 43% of the money spent on this game was from the United States, while when you start to look at the other countries, 23% from South Korea, and 8% was done in Japan. Now, between Germany and Canada combined, they got 9% of the spend. So yeah, Diablo Immortal is making Blizzard a ton of money. Now, there's also one giant elephant that hasn't taken its turn at playing Diablo Immortal, and that is China. And it might not be all rosy for the game's launch in that country, because the gaming giant NetEase, which actually made Diablo Immortal along with Blizzard, plunged 7% after Diablo Immortal was delayed in China. And this just happened a couple of days ago. There is no set launch date. It was supposed to be June 23rd, so this is a last-minute delay, but supposedly, quote unquote, they delayed it in order to adjust and include for a wider range of devices and networks and perform optimization. Yeah, sure, Blizzard. Now, I'm not going to jump into the full political blah, 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 everything, but most people know by now that China is kind of a quasi-communist authoritative regime, and they want to beat everybody in the world. If you didn't fully know about this, China limited online video games to just 3 hours a week for younger people, and they're completely banned for younger people Monday through Thursday. So if you didn't know about this, that was already a big damper on Diablo Immortal for the Chinese market. And by big, I mean astronomically huge. Now, even though they are this quasi-communist authoritarian regime, they want to beat everybody in the world, and they want their people to become the best they can. And they know that sitting on your phone playing video games all week isn't going to do it. And because they don't allow the same freedoms to their people in their country, they can crack down on things like this. I believe that's a big reason why they decided to port Diablo Immortal over to PC, and that is to try to make up some revenue from what they were going to miss out on the China market. So if we go head back to why the Diablo Immortal was delayed in China, I'm guessing pretty much it's because of the monetization structure. They don't want Blizzard taking advantage of their citizens, so they're just going to go ahead and outright probably ban it. This is my speculation only, but that's probably what it's looking at. Could you imagine though, if China really puts their thumb on Blizzard and ends up making them take out loot boxes and take out the microtransaction monetization in order to get the endgame stuff, but they don't do that in China, but they leave it in for the rest of the world? Now, they're still making an absolute ton of money off it, but if China actually does not allow this in their country, this actually would be a good sign for actually Blizzard's future of making good games, and kind of for us, for the rest of the world, to be honest. The Chinese market is so huge that if this is not end up allowed in a country that's going to end up making Blizzard that much money, it might give them some pause in the future to do this type of monetization. And no, I'm not promoting authoritarian communism. I'm just saying in this particular instance, it might not be a terrible bad thing what they're going to do in this one particular instance. So is Diablo Immortal completely dead? No, it is not. I feel like the game over a very short period of time here will condense down and down and down till it's only pretty much that are kind of addicted to the whole loot box monetization, spending thousands and thousands of dollars a year on the game. And all the casual players will probably drop off pretty quick when they hit that paywall. Most people aren't going to be putting any money into this game, and that's what I would recommend if you do play it. I've dabbled a little bit. Don't put a single penny into it. A lot of people are probably going to buy the first $1 loot boxes and maybe the battle pass, and then when they get to the end, they'll drop off. But it's looking like there's kind of a lot of people still playing Diablo Immortal. They're making a butt ton of money on this game, and I think really whatever happens in China will tell a lot for the Diablo franchise's future. If you want to watch videos about a game that doesn't have loot boxes, you just pay up front one time and then you have the fun for the rest of your life, check out one of these videos up over here and sound off down in the comments about what you think about Diablo Immortal. Peace out, and don't forget, keep slaying.